Since the dawn of humankind, we have wanted to spread our wings and fly, but it's only been in the last 100 years or so that man has been able to successfully and safely take their feet off the ground. Since the first flight in 1903, man has made great leaps. In the past 50 years, we have developed technology to travel faster than the speed of sound and send man, monkey, and car outside of our home atmosphere. The history of aviation is as vast as it is interesting, and today I will be giving you a very brief look. In the late 1800s, early 1900s, the world was exploding with the idea of finally getting our feet off the ground. And in 1903, two bicycle mechanic brothers named Orville and Wilbur Wright successfully made the first powered flight out of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. 24 years later, Charles Lindbergh completed the first solo non-transatlantic flight. Transatlantic flights had happened before, but they were not solo flights. So on May 20th of 1927, Lindbergh left from Roosevelt Field with 450 gallons of fuel and a radial engine and traveled for 33 and a half hours before he landed in Paris. In 1930, British inventor Frank Whittle designed the jet engine and revolutionized the way people would travel forever. In 1932, Amelia Earhart became the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean in 15 hours and 18 minutes. In 1937, she was also the first woman to fly across the Pacific Ocean. She attempted a flight around the world later in 1937, which led to her early disappearance in July of that year. The case is still not solved to this day. In 1939, the first jet-powered aircraft takes off, and in 1947, the first airplane to ever exceed the speed of sound takes off. This airplane was a Bell X-1 rocket plane piloted by Charles Yeager, can now be found hanging in the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. Yeager received the Collier Trophy, which is a very big deal in aviation, and his flight was called the greatest achievement in aviation since 1903, according to Space.com. In 1949, the United States sends the first monkey, Albert II, into space when he traveled 83 miles above the Earth's surface. Unfortunately, our little monkey friend did not survive his voyage. In 1969, we sent Neil Armstrong and a group of other astronauts to the moon to make a giant step for mankind. And in 1970, the Boeing 747 becomes the first jumbo jet to make a commercial flight. These are still one of the most well-known airplanes in commercial aviation, and every Air Force One since this time has been a 747. And in more recent times, in 2018, Elon Musk sent a Tesla Roadster into space because he could. The world of aviation is an ever-changing industry, with new ideas and methods being discovered every year. In the next 100 years, I think we are likely to see commercial ventures outside of the atmosphere, faster than sound traveling becoming more common, and more people become pilots. Thank you.